And if you identify it and they say it's positive,
Yep.
what's the next step then for clients? What do they do?
They opt to either, if they don't need to remove it, if it's not anywhere that they're renovating and it's safe, it's not deteriorating, they can just leave it and move forward. Or if they want it removed, I'll work in with the client, put them onto a company that can remove it. We've got a few of the gyms guys that do it for us.
Yeah, the gym's hazmat division, absolutely.
And they just come straight out, they do everything, and they give them clearance certificates to move forward.
So welcome back to the Gym Podcast today. We've got Shayne Price, and you're from Gyms Building Inspections in Terrigal. You've been with us since 2024 in March, and you've got really great track record and ratings. I've just had a look at you on the system then, so you're doing fantastic from a customer service point of view. So you've been going for a year and a half now in gym, so how's it all been?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's actually been a little bit overwhelming, the support and everything you get from the guys, the guys at gyms and, your franchisor. Yeah, it's been great. It was not so much daunting at the start because I was doing inspections prior to this under my own company name. And then when I came across the gym's franchise and Sam, and when he spoke about, what's involved and what you guys do and what you offer, it was literally a no-brainer for me to come across.
Now, I've never interviewed someone doing inspections as an independent before. It's always been chippies or builders coming across. So why did you want to come across as an independent to do gyms building inspections?
So I'm a builder also by trade, being in the building industry for 22 years. I had a construction company with, at one stage, 17 staff. When it was, managing all that and, obviously multiple projects all the time, it was just getting a bit overwhelming and I'd sort of had enough of that. So I was looking at getting out and I'd started doing building inspections and consultancy work on the side also. So I sort of got into doing that. And when I was actually in Melbourne at the gyms, one of the meetings down there, because I was looking at buying with my business partner a fencing franchise.
Ah, yep.
And then Sam just happened to be there on the day talking about the building inspections. And I thought, I'll find out a little bit more about it and just what the cost was to go through gyms to buy a franchise just far outweighed what the cost would be for me to try and set up the back end of my business. Yeah. And you've got the beauty of gyms. Everyone knows gyms.
Well, you know that better than anyone else because you've run a successful business for so many years. So you know the reality of actually running a business. So
100%. It was really easy for me to make decisions, go, look, instead of trying this all on my own, I turn up or I'm trying to get work and people go, oh, mate, we haven't heard of you as an inspector. So the deal, it was a really easy choice to go, well, I'll jump in and I'll grab the gym's branding behind me and run forward with that.
I love hearing that because you guys know you know the best out of anyone. I reckon it's you franchisees who come in probably don't understand it sometimes in terms of the brand and stuff like that. But you actually understand it because you've tried. Yeah, you've done it for so many years. So
it was really easy.
Was that a common question you had from people? Like as you're independent, you were saying people haven't heard of you before or something. They want to get reviews or had that. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, they were sort of I haven't really heard of you guys. Yeah, I know what you do construction wise, but I haven't heard of you as inspectors or that sort of thing. Where as soon as you rock up, they go, oh, yeah, gyms, we know them. They do everything. It gives them a really good, it gives them confidence straight away.
So how's it been going from, being a 17-employee business to, I presume you're doing as a sole trader now, you have a business partner in it? Yep.
Sole trader.
So how's that shift been? Because that's a bit of a identity shift going from that.
It's been great. It's a lot less stress. I'll give you that, Joel. And my situation is a little bit different to most franchisees because I have one in Sydney, so at Terrigal.
Yeah.
And then I also work, my partner, she lives in Brisbane. And when I'm up in Brisbane, I actually work in Brisbane also. So I have a territory up here.
I've never heard of that before. So do you
know? I think I'm one of the only ones.
There you go. Well, that makes sense when you actually need to get an extra territory doing what you're doing. Yeah. Sometimes people get it doesn't make sense, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I'm sort of in the process now of moving to Brisbane full time, and then I'll keep the Brisbane territory, and then I'll look at sort of closing the Sydney one down.
Oh, cool. Well, that's an actual really great example of when you should get an extra territory because that's a really good one. I've never heard of anyone do that before. So
yeah, it works fantastic. So I do 2 weeks. If I'm in Sydney, I'll be down there for 2 weeks. Sometimes I'm in Brisbane for 3 or 4 weeks. The work just carries over where I am. So at the moment, I'm only doing asbestos and dilapidation because I'm waiting on the QBCC just to finalise my final information for my licence. So they've granted my builder's licence, no problem at all. I'm just in the process. Everything's been done. I'm just waiting on them to tick the boxes for my inspector's license.
Cool. And I was going to say as well, then lead gen side, how's the lead generation side been in gyms for you?
Oh, it's been fantastic. It has. Some weeks I literally turn it off because I just can't keep up.
Is that also with your own marketing as well? I presume you're doing some own stuff on your own end?
Yeah, so I wrapped a bus on the Central Coast where I live, and it's cruising around with all the gym's logos all over it. So that's been really good. I did that with Sam, and the costs per month on that, the return has just been huge.
Really? That's great to hear.
Yeah, so I have obviously my vehicle completely wrapped, and then I sort of pay to have a bus done also.
And I think with your industry now, like there's just so many horror stories you see on people would see on A Current Affair, and there's YouTube channels and stuff like that. Like, and you know yourself as a builder, like how tough the game could be. Like, what's the reason for all the increases? Is it just stress on builders now, where they have maybe a bit of pressure and they cut corners, or what? I think
it's a bit of stress on builders. They're under the time crunch with clients. Everyone wants their house built today. So unfortunately, builders are also under the crunch of material costs are going up, labor costs are going up. And unfortunately, there is some dodgy builders out there too that just don't play by the rules. You know, they'll happily cut corners and then try and cover it up. So that makes it very difficult, you know. And, you know, when we go in, I get a lot of times where the client will say, oh, I'm buying the house. They've already got a report done, but I'd like an independent done. And then, you know, I'll go in and I'll go through, I'll do the report, and then they come back and they say, oh, the first builder didn't find these mistakes or these issues, you know.
Yeah. I shouldn't laugh, but I've done a few interviews with you guys before, and I hear this, and I've seen a bit of content online, and I feel really sorry for people doing new builds at the moment. So let's say someone is going to do a new build of their home. I just believe people trust the builder so much, right? And, you know, they trust this person to do it so much, they're going to do the right thing. But what should someone, if they're doing a new build, do in regards to getting you guys involved? How does that work?
For the cost of what it is to get someone in to do a new con progress reports the whole way through inspections, really, it's a drop in the ocean compared to what your build's going to cost. And it's peace of mind. We see it a lot still where builders will come in and they'll go, yeah, I did one the other day and it was for a lady who's got a leaking bathroom upstairs. And I went in, I did the report. She said, oh, I've spoken to the builder. He said he'll come and fix the issue. I said, not a problem. I said, let's have a look at it. So there was no puddle flanges in the floor waste, and there was no water stops on any of the showers or the doors, and the floor was dead level. So as soon as you turn the shower on, the water ran towards the bathroom door out onto the carpet. And then when it came to the floor waste, I lifted up the center floor waste, smart waste out of it, and the pipes weren't even connected properly. He just silicone around them. They were that far. They're 20 millimeters offset to each other where they'll put in ROM, and he just siliconed around them and said, oh, they'll be fine. And that was the water leaking into the roof cavity downstairs.
So in that sort of scenario, is that how do you then help the client in that scenario? Obviously, you point out that problem to them, but I presume a lot of these customers might not be as confident as going back to a builder. So how do you guys help with that?
So I sat there and brought up all the regulations that, they need puddle flanges on all the floor waste, shower waste. They need water stops on all the shower edges, bathroom doors, things like that. And said to her, you know, I'll work in with fair trading with you. I'll write my report up that what needs doing, how it needs to be rectified, how it needs to be fixed. And then she then took it to fair trading because the builder was putting pressure on her saying, no, I'll just come back and fix it tomorrow. A little bit of a background story. The house is 5.5 years old. So it's got 18 months left of homeowner's warranty. He's literally trying to just band-aid it until the warranty's finished. And then he can turn around and go, oh, that's not my problem now.
That's not good.
No. And he wanted to, you know, he said, oh, I can just lift tiles and fix that. I said, but you can't because then you penetrate the waterproof. He goes, oh, no, it'll be fine. Yeah. And it's just, you can't do that. So she was stuck because she had no advice, only what the builder was telling her. And that's where I sort of stepped in and helped her out a little bit with it.
That's the thing people just go wrong is they don't get that advice or they don't think they need it or they just 100% trust the builder. And unfortunately, if they're not a good operator, they can do these things. And I think it's obviously a lot more commonplace now and there's a bit more awareness around this too. So from the sense of it, you doing a new build, just get Jim's Building Inspections involved. It's an absolute
just get the guys in from the start. Yeah, 100%. It's a peace of mind, you know, throughout the build.
And the cost is how much
if there's a mistake, no, it's a drop in the ocean comparison. Yeah, if you have a problem with waterproofing and it's not picked up till the build's finished, you could be looking at $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to fix it. You know, and sometimes the builders just go, "Oh, I've got no money," or they go into liquidation, and then it's the homeowner that has to fix it.
Yeah, then we've done a few videos down here
where
things and
it's crazy what they try and get through sometimes. If you're the owner of the property, you're excited to get in the house.
I think that's the key thing. But I think having you guys in the corner now, I think it's a non-negotiable. I just think people just need to pay something that much extra, get you guys involved at the start to keep the builder accountable and honest. And I think it's just an absolute no-brainer as an insurance policy for it. And I think people got no idea. Like that lady, for example, she didn't have you involved. She probably just would accept what the builder's saying to her, right? And then leave it. And then, then there's a lot more expensive issues down the track.
That's it. And that's the thing. Unfortunately, people don't know what advice to take. So they just take gospel what the builder tells them. And sometimes the builders are dead on the money and they do a fantastic job, but there is other circumstances where they don't. They do it, they rush it, they half do it, and they try and slide it through.
And you would know from yourself, like there's pressures on and there's building the costs and there's clients. And so, it's understandable that these things might happen. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. You got clients that want their houses finished fast. You've got deadlines. You've got bills to pay. Yeah. It happens. But if people have got someone on their side, like, the gym's inspectors, it can be picked up before it gets too far.
100%. And the stress of that, but you don't have that stress anymore, which is good to hear.
Which is fantastic.
And I was going to say, you do asbestos. So how common is asbestos now? And what should people look out for with regarding this?
So I do a lot of asbestos work. Some of the things, unfortunately, I get phone calls from clients and they say, "Oh, we've started pulling the kitchen out and we thought we should get tested." Yeah, you've already disturbed them. Yeah, the best advice I can give people is if you want to renovate a house and you're concerned with the age of the house, get the gyms guys in straight away. We can test it before you even start. I've even had ones where real estates have rang me and said, "Oh, the builder's doing a reno on this tenant's house. The Sparkies have found asbestos and the builders are still working in it." And it's like, guys, come on, it's deadly. We know the risks. So, if you're in doubt, just call the gyms guys and get us out there and we'll test it straight away for you. And the turnaround time is, normally we have an answer in 48 hours as to what.
Oh, really? Yeah, pretty quick.
That fast.
And I was going to say, what sort of age then? You mentioned age of the property. What sort of age should people sort of be keeping a mind out for?
Anything pre-90s. Anything pre-90s, I always say 100% get it tested. And even if it's on that turning point of the 90s, there's still houses that have got it. There were still materials getting around back then that would be on the turn. So it's always best just to go on the side of cautious and just get it tested. It's cheap.
And if you identify it and let's say it's positive, what's the next step then for clients? What do they do?
Then they opt to either, if they don't need to remove it, if it's not anywhere that they're renovating and it's safe, it's not deteriorating, they can just leave it and move forward. Or if they want it removed, I'll work in with the client, put them onto a company that can remove it. And we've got a few of the gyms guys that do it for us.
Yeah, the gyms hazmat division, absolutely.
And they just come straight out, they do everything, and they give them clearance certificates to move forward.
Cool. And I was going to say, you do dilapidation as well. So can you explain to people what is dilapidation reports?
Yeah, so the idea of a dilapidation report is you go and inspect all council assets and any adjoining buildings prior to construction on a new development or a major reno starting. So that way, if you finish your renovation and someone comes in and says, "Oh, you've damaged the curb and gutter out the front," you can pull out your dilapidation report and go, "No, that was damaged on the 5th of April. We've noted it already and you're not liable to fix it." I got caught years ago with a client and we did a dilapidation report ourselves. The council didn't require it. When we finished the project, he said, "Oh, you've damaged the curb and gutter out the front and council wants," it was about 18,000 to repair it. And I said, "Well, here's our dilapidation report showing that it was damaged and everything's timestamped." He had no leg to stand on. We didn't have to cover any of the costs.
So when should people get that sort of done, as you said before? Is it renovations or anything that's going to...
They should be getting it done before there's any major works done on the property or excavation, things like that.
Okay.
And a lot of the times council is asking to have it done now prior to them giving you a construction certificate to start.
That sounds like the pretty common. Is that a pretty common thing you do?
It is. It's getting more and more common every day now because it's essentially it's an insurance policy for you. If your neighbour comes back and says, "Oh, my retaining wall's cracked because of you," you can go back and go, "Well, hang on, we photographed it before we even started construction and it was already cracked." There's no different. So you've got a leg to stand on and you've got evidence to show that if there was damage there already, it's been done. Or on the other foot, if there is damage during construction, then you say, "No, it wasn't damaged. We have damaged it. We'll fix it."
Yeah, it sounds like an absolute no-brainer. I think there'd be people trying to pull the dodgies and pull the shifty all the time. Yeah, absolutely. And what other types?
Unfortunately.
I can imagine it does. We see with other insurance claims here, not related to JBI, but so let's say if it's a cleaning person or something like that. And yeah, unfortunately, people do try that sort of stuff. Now, what other services in your business, Shayne, are you doing at the moment?
So I do, like we spoke about, I do dilapidation. I do building and pest pre-purchase.
You're building in pest pre-purchase. So pest pre-purchase. So let's talk about that. I presume up in Brisbane, termites is obviously a big thing for people. So just walk us through that in the process.
Yep. So what we do is I'll go in and I'll do a pre-purchase inspection of the property for the buyer. So we'll go in, we'll do all the inspections, check for any major or minor defects in the property, check all electrical, plumbing, check if there's no safety hazards or anything like that. And then we can then also go through, we check if there's any termite barrier systems in place, if there's any active termites or there's been damage from termites in the past, anything like that. Wood decay, boral, fungus, all that sort of stuff.
I was going to say as well, you mentioned the building inspection. So just for people who don't know, what is involved with the building inspection? Like what should they expect? So they engage you guys, you come over. What's the actual process? Just walk them through what you guys do and what can they expect as an outcome?
Yeah, no worries. So basically the first thing that I would do when we get to the inspection is we check the meter box, check all the safety switches, and also if there's a termite management system in place. And then we'll start on the exterior of the building. So we check things like conducive conditions, if there's timber in the ground, if there's taps with no drains underneath them, if there's any rotted out trees or trees with termites or anything like that. And then work our way around all the exterior, check all sliding doors, underneath the decks, all the subfloor, and then move our way inside. And we just check for any defects, as in plumbing defects. So there's water hammer in the walls when you turn a tap on, any electrical, if there's anything unsafe with the electrical, and just if there's deterioration in the building exterior, like paintwork or damage to the building or wood rot around windows and things like that. And then move our way inside, do the same inside, just check all skirting boards, all window frame. And we're checking for termites in walls, things like that also. And then we'll go into the roof cavities and do the same.
And the report that you provide to customers, like what's on that? Like how's that? Because they might be, like people might expect it to be jargon or something they can't understand. So do you want to just talk about the report you provide?
Yeah, so we write out reports. So pretty much they detail if we find a defect, what type of defect it is, who needs to fix it, and what the time recommendation is for us to fix it. So if it's urgent, it'll be immediately, and the associated trades, and what the defect falls under, as in building codes and things like that.
And I presume you have a massive network where you can actually refer people for those specific defects if you find them to someone you know. Yep.
Yeah, that's it. And that way it makes it easy for the client also. And I also do vendor reports. So if you want to put your house on the market, I'll come and do a report for the property before it actually hits the market also. So then you can go through things that the client might need to have repaired or replaced or fixed.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And do real estate agents go to you guys directly as more customers?
Yeah, so I've got a couple of real estate agents that just come direct for it.
Awesome. And in terms of building your business, like in terms of customer service standards and what you do, what should people expect from, let's say, what should they expect from you as a building inspector? You got a great customer service rating. I had a look here, really good reviews, pretty much perfect. That says your price. We've got a price rating on our system. It says your price is too low. So you've got to, maybe you need to up your prices.
Yeah, I know. It's funny how many people say, "Oh, you're a little bit expensive. Can you do it cheaper?" It's like, no, we don't. You pay what you get for. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I was going to say as well, with so what's your customer service stance? What do you think your point of difference is in the market to other people out there?
I communicate with the client as much as I possibly can. I'll communicate right up throughout the whole process with the client, what's involved in inspections, what we do, what we don't do, what we can do, if there's further inspections. And then once I've finished the inspection, I call the client directly from the property and I'll have a chat to them and just let them know, we found this, or this was great, this was bad, things like that. Unfortunately, people don't like to hear bad news, but you have to give it to them. And there's no point sugarcoating them. I'm just upfront and telling the truth from the start. And then they'll get their full report sent to them. And then I'll also do an additional follow-up with them with the report. That way, if they've got any questions in there, they can give me a call and things like that.
Yeah, I think that's really important for people to know. It's not just hear a report and see you later. You guys will be on the phone if they need to explain things. Yeah.
And I say to the client, don't hesitate to give me a call. If you've got questions, call me. Yeah, if you want your partner involved on the phone call, link us all up and I can chat with all three of you, even with your conveyances, anything you need.
Wow, that's awesome.
A lot easier for them.
That's great service. And I was going to say, on top of that, I'm going to pump you up a bit here. If you're in Brisbane, like access to you with all that years of building experience, plus this is just amazing value, I think, because I don't know for other building inspection companies, but I guarantee there's not many who had a 17-person building company who they get access to.
No, I'm lucky in the way that I've seen it all. I've seen it from both sides of the fence. I've seen it from the builder side, and I've also seen it from the inspector side. So it's good in that way. Yeah, no, there's not a lot I haven't seen in 22 years experience.
I just think they get it. I think a customer using you to get great access to just that knowledge. I think it's well worth it. And also, you own the business too, which I think is a big thing for for customers to know, is that you're the business owner, you're not an employee. So
Yeah,
you really care.
and that's what I say to people. I own the business, so you can call me, and I'm the one that picks up the phone, not someone else.
Awesome. Now, with the franchise itself, have you been happy revenue-wise with what you've been doing? You've been happy with all that?
Oh yeah, over the moon with it. Yeah, could not be happier. The communication from the guys at gyms is unbelievable.
Cool. I think is it Sam Robinson, your franchisor? Yeah.
Yeah, Sam is. Yeah, he's a legend.
If even he's an energetic man, Sammy's one of our trainers down here. He's great.
He definitely is. I thought I had a lot of energy, but Sam leaves me for dead.
Absolutely. And franchise fees. Obviously, there's a bit of misconception with franchise fees from the public. So, how do you think the value of fees stack up in return for what you get?
I think they're great. I think the cost of the fees compared to what you get, I couldn't employ someone to do all the back end stuff. What it cost me a month, couldn't even go close.
Now, when you say back end stuff, is that via the app you have, or is that other stuff?
That's via the app, the support from the call centers, everything. If you've got a problem, you can always pick up the phone and ring someone. Yeah, you never get an answer that you never put a question up that you don't get an answer to.
And and how have you been as going as a sole trader in terms of, like you said, less stress before?
Yep.
Has there been do you have more time to do other things now that you like doing, or what have you done with that?
Oh, it's great. It gives me the flexibility that I have a very good work-life balance now.
That's good.
When I had my construction business, it was literally 7 days a week, 24/7. I'd go on. I recently went on holidays with my partner, and it was the first holiday I'd had in 22 years where no one from work rang me.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Wow.
It was fantastic not to have, to actually have a holiday and not have to worry about work ringing.
I was going to say, you'd always have that anxiety for all those other holidays, thinking, well, hey, emails I have to get, bloody calls and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Where this one, it was literally put on the app that I'm on holidays. No leads came through, and then when I got back, just turn it back on. It was great.
Awesome to hear. Now, so what's going to happen because obviously the government wants to build all these houses, right? So I presume there's a lot of things going to get rushed through, and I'm thinking that's going to be a lot of work for you guys. So just as a homeowner, let's say buying a new build or buying an existing build, like, is it just from your perspective, just Adam, the bare minimum is just get a pre-purchase independent building inspection report as a bare minimum? Is there anything else they should consider, or what would you sort of say around that they should be looking at?
If you're buying a second-hand property, yes, 100% get building and pest in. Pre-purchase and do an independent for the cost. If you're looking at a property that's upwards of $1.5 million, the cost of $700-800 for an inspection is nothing. Really, it's absolutely nothing. And if you're building, then get the guys in from the start. Get the gyms guys in to inspect all the stages right through, so nothing gets missed.
And I think for the price, you guys, like as I said before, then for someone to access all your experience for that price is fairly cheap. Well, it's very cheap. So I think, I don't know why people say, can you do it cheaper? Because I think and you're the background.
Yeah. I think it's just, I think people just want everything cheaper.
Yeah.
And that's, people say, no, can you do it cheaper? I say, go to that real estate agent and ask him if he'll do the fees cheaper. Because at the end of the day, he gets paid and everything falls back on the inspector if there's an issue.
That's 100%. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Well, Shayne, thank you very much for your time today. It's great to actually meet you and hear how much experience you've got. I think it gives should give a hell of a lot of confidence to people when they use JBI. They get someone like yourself, other franchisees with all this experience. So thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it, and good luck for your move to Brisbane.
No worries. Thanks, Joey. Have a good day, mate.
Thanks, Shayne. See you, mate. Thank you for listening to the episode of the Gyms podcast. If you want to learn more about the Gyms Group, head to gyms.net or call us on 131 546 Australia or 0800 454 654 New Zealand. And if you did like the episode as well, please make sure you leave a review or a comment or a thumbs up or a comment on the video as well. We appreciate your support. And until next episode, we hope you have a great week.